Today I'm so happy to have the amazing Fiona Young with me. Fiona and I met a number of years ago when I was starting my coaching training, and we had the most lovely experience actually. It was very transformational, I think, for everybody involved in that process.
Absolutely, 4 years ago. Yeah.
I can't believe it. And actually at the time Fiona was still in a global role with Shell, and you've been there for nearly 15 years or something at that time.
Yes.
What a stint.
Yeah. Very unlike for millennials.
Indeed.
Job hopping.
I love it. It's a good role model. So tell me a little bit about what you've gone on to do since then.
Right. So after we've done our coaching training together, basically right now I see myself as an intergenerational bridge builder. So as a coach, as a trainer, but also as a speaker, I try to help my clients, so senior management, HR, to really understand the next generation. And not just focus on, what they hear on social media, millennials being lazy, entitled, they join the company, and then 3 months later, they want the promotion. So I want them to, I want to demystify all these misconceptions and really bring attention to what millennials, but also the Gen Z, so the ones that are younger than millennials, what they truly want. But at the same time, what I'm also doing, because my belief is really about bridging the gaps from both sides, is that also for the next generation, they need to also understand and empathize with the more mature generations and trying to learn from them. And so I'm also shaping new managers, future leaders, so that they can become, the best version of themselves.
I love that, because actually we don't have enough support for people at the moment. And also from the employer's standpoint, it's so important for them to be informed and to understand all of the different intricacies around what's going on in the workplace at the moment. And you are obviously an amazing tool for helping this all come together, and I love it. So tell me your 3 kind of top takeaways. I know with these videos you only don't get like a moment to share everything. So tell me what you would give somebody as your top 3 tips.
So for one, if I talk to leaders and they really want to understand the next generation, it's about creating a sense of belonging in the organization, helping people to feel that they're included. And I think once people feel that they're included, that they're being listened to.
Yeah.
When I say listening, it's not only listening to respond, but actually listening to understand, and really having that coaching hat on, right? Asking more questions. And I think that way we can diminish all these misconceptions about the different generations, and rather focusing on the commonalities that we have. Because I do believe, and you can ask anyone from any generation, what they want from the workplace is that they want to feel respected. They want to feel trusted and empowered. And when they do a good job, they want to feel recognized for the great things that they've been doing. So I don't think that it's much of a difference between the different generations, but these are the commonalities. And I think instead of just focusing on the differences, let's leverage on the commonalities that all the generations have together.
Okay, I love that. I think the other thing is, with everything that went on in the world last year, we were talking a little bit off camera really about, how people have got such a new perspective coming into this year. There are such big shifts going on for people. From your perspective and listening to the people that you've been talking to this year so far, what are the main takeaways that you're seeing?
Right. So I think last year was a big hit to anyone, right? And I think it's also because 2020, everyone kind of had a hope that it's going to be even better. I mean, same here. I thought that last year would be an amazing year, and then it's just such a roadblock.
Yeah.
And I think it did give us an opportunity to pause though, and just reassess and reflect. Where are we right now?
Yeah.
It gave us a lot of quiet moments at home, right, during quarantine, and hopefully, and I do think a lot of us actually took that opportunity to just pause and reflect and assess what could be the next steps. And I've also heard and worked with some of my coaching clients that they completely went to a different route, and something that they wouldn't have explored if they didn't have that pause button.
Right, it's interesting. We all need a pause every now and again, let's face it.
Absolutely. Especially here in Hong Kong.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so in terms of looking to the future, I'm really interested in this, because for me, I feel like we've come out of something where great transformations have happened. I think the leaders and the employees and the employers are all engaged to try and make a better future for everyone. I really think there is this intention to get things in a good place.
Yes.
And this year, obviously in Hong Kong, although we are confined, shall we say, by certain regulations, I think there is a huge blossoming going on in terms of where businesses are going. There's huge growth happening, and there's a lot of excitement as well about what could be the future. What do you think in terms of how the new generation will view that? Is it something that you think is going to be tangible in terms of creating the same atmosphere when we've still got all of these restrictions in place, because of the whole, they're not in the workplace, but they want to be in the workplace, and we can't be as together as we want to be. Do you think people are making enough of an effort to bridge that gap?
I do see, at least with my clients, that they are making a deliberate effort into really making hybrid models work. So you have people co-located in the same office, but then you also have people maybe dialing into virtual meetings. And how do you actually create an inclusive environment where people can speak up, regardless of whether they're dialing in or they're co-located? And I think this whole hybrid model needs to be embraced even further, even beyond COVID, because that's just going to be, if you want to use that word, the new norm, because you want to empower people to work from home, to choose, have flexible work arrangements. And this is especially for the next generation very high on the bucket list, when they join a company, that they would love to have flexible work arrangements.
Absolutely.
So we need to help leaders really understand trustworthiness. How can they establish trust amongst each other? And at the same time, also, how can they create an inclusive environment when you're running a hybrid model?
Yeah, agreed. And I think from our perspective in the consultancy business, there is definitely this importance of re-educating clients if they are still struggling with this newer concept, that if they don't, they won't be able to retain the talent that they so vitally need for progress.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I love to do is not only me showing up as an expert to my clients and sharing with them what they could do differently, what kind of initiatives that they can come up with. So usually I facilitate a conversation where I actually ask the leaders to invite some of their young talents to provide some ideas in terms of how could they make flexible work arrangements actually happen in the organization. What could be some tangible, what could be some actionable initiatives. So it's not just me sharing with them what are some best practices, but actually what works for their company, what works for them. Exactly. And not just for leaders to come up with some ideas, but actually soliciting feedback from their employees.
Which is the beauty of diversity.
Yes, absolutely. So leaders don't have to have the pressure to come up with some ideas or initiatives themselves.
Let it come from the employees.
Exactly.
Yeah, employees. Brilliant. Okay, well, I'm so grateful of your time, which is very precious, so I shall let you go.
Thanks so much, Helen, for having me.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, and I hope you'll come again.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Thank you.
Bye.